Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Welcome. Critique. I want to have a short critique about masters. The masters. We're told there will be two masters. The Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. That's the way they refer to it in the Angel, or aka Revelations. In Habakkuk, it refers to him as the Holy One, right, and the God. So Sunni Islam refers to him as the Mahdi and Jesus. So there's referred to many names, but there'll be two, and both of them masters. And we're going to talk briefly about what that means. So let's proceed. Well, first of all, there is the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam. That's our nature. 5 mathematical pillars of Islam. That remains the same. That's our nature. Our nature doesn't change. It gets better, but our nature doesn't change, right? Like a bird is always a bird, right? No such thing as evolution. And then you have scripture. It's written every approximately 25,000 years, right? That's more or less prophecy, right? So we have those two things. See, those two things, and that changes. That changes, but the 5 fundamental principles, 5 fundamental principles, mathematical principles of Islam, does not change because that's in sync with the universe. That's the nature of the universe. That's our nature in the universe. We are the universe, right? So when you study those, you study the universe because those are the 5 fundamental forces in the universe. However, scripture is also in sync with the universe because it tells the flow of the universe. See, it's telling the flow of the universe. See, so one is our nature, but one, right, is traveling, right? Our travels through time in the universe because we're constantly creating time, right? And scriptures represent that. In fact, it gives guidance on, it's one of the tools we use to create time. Time is just the process of converting energy from one form into another. So we're time travelers, we're constantly creating time. See? And so the tool we use for that, the scriptures, because we can look ahead and find out what's the best path to take in creating time. What's the best direction? See? What's the best method? But our nature doesn't change. Okay, so having said that, let's move on. So, what's going on here? Okay, we're just coming out of a period of energy deprivation. So we're kind of challenged, I would say, right? We have somewhat of a disadvantage because we're coming out of energy deprivation. We haven't completely come out of it. We come out of enough to bring our civilization back together. But we're not completely out of it. We're not completely out of it until we're made whole again. Put on top of civilization, we're back home, and we have thorough knowledge of ourselves, right? And return, right, to our natural state. So we're not there yet, but we're getting there. See? And the energy that we're receiving now is momentous in the heavens and earth, but it comes you but of a sudden. Energy you're receiving right now, right, is going to solve much of that, right? So first we're going to talk about Master Farad Muhammad and why he's a master. Because what Master Farad Muhammad has done, he has mastered the 5 fundamental mathematical principles of Islam. He's mastered them. But it takes a lot of energy to master them. We can apply them, right? We can study them, right? See? It's like going to the gym, right? See, it will take you a lot of energy to be able to lift 1,000 pounds, but you can start the process. See? So some of us are different stages along the way. But once you get to 1,000 pounds, okay, if that's the goal, if that's the apex of the situation, then you've mastered it. So Master Muhammad has mastered all aspects of the 5 fundamental mathematical principles of Islam. Just like Salat. He says Salat for 6 to 8 hours a night, walking back and forth. I can't do that. I don't know of anyone who can. It takes a lot of energy to do that. And that's just that one aspect of it. What about the other 4 aspects? Right? Where we're told he eats 1 meal every 3 days. Or even further spaced out than that. It takes a lot of energy to do that. It's a lot of discipline. It takes energy to do everything. That's why, because of our energy deprivation situation, handicap, right? In this time, then he had to be made as he's made. He has to be made made such that he would not suffer the main effects of energy deprivation. So he was given a Caucasian mother because they are not suffering energy deprivation. But he has an original mind. So he has a discipline to control it, but he doesn't have the energy deprivation problem that we have. So he has the ability, he can apply the energy necessary to master the 5 fundamental principles of Islam. That's why he's the God. Because once you've mastered it, you become a God. We all will master it at some time in the future when we have enough energy to do it. I don't have enough energy to do it. I do not have enough energy to do it. I mean, I've made attempts, but I do not have enough energy to do it because it requires a lot of energy to master the 5 fundamental mathematical principles of Islam, to master all of them. See? Because when you master the second one, right, then you have the ability to tune in. Well, I've talked about that in previous presentations, right? Because all that has to do with the frequency and the vibration of the heart. So he has the ability to do all those things because he's mastered. Once you have mastered, you become a different person. Your nature doesn't change, but you become a different person. You can tune in, for one. He's able to do that, right? See? And other things. See? Because each one of those 5 fundamental principles gives you power over, things around you. Gives you power to do certain things. See? So he doesn't have to sleep. And that requires that's part of the second pillar. Second pillar, once you master that, you will not have to sleep. Right? You already said we will not have to sleep. And in addition to that, right, he can tune in. Those are 2 of the benefits of mastering the second pillar of Islam. See? Mastering the first one, right, gives you very powerful mathematical skills, which he's demonstrated by building the mother plane he's built. No one in this society can do it because the mathematics are very, very sophisticated to do that. And no one in this world can come close. But that's what you do when you master the first one. See? He has a lot. He stays young. Why? That's mastering the third one. I mean, the fourth one, fasting. You see? So, these are things, when you master them, those are the benefits. But it takes a lot of energy. And he could not have had the energy to do it if he had an original mother as well as the original Father, because he was suffered energy deprivation. He could not summon energy to do. That's why he's as he is. So that's why we call him Master Farad Muhammad, because he's mastered the 5 fundamental pillars of Islam, right? He's the one in the angel they call the Lord of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So I hope I've explained that enough. I don't intend to make this a long, lengthy process here. Presentation. On the other hand, it's like this neighborhood knows when I'm going to make a presentation. They come out with all the noise. I don't know how much of this you can hear. So I'll go slowly, right? On the other hand, right, you got the scripture and the angel. And the angel is this particular scripture is the most complex ever written, because it was written for a time of unprecedented trouble. See? And now, that's scripture. See? So, when you master, let me back up again. When you master the 5 fundamental mathematical principles of Islam, right, then you're God. That's what makes you a God. Once you master the 5 fundamental mathematical principles of Islam, right, that makes you a God. That qualifies you a God. You're a master, so you're a God. Right? Okay. But on the other hand, Suleiman was called high priest. See? That's what they called him in Exodus. He said the priest was taken from Aaron and gave it to him, because Aaron didn't deserve it, he didn't know what it was anyway. So he had to master the AL-INJIL, because AL-INJIL is about prophecy, moving forward through time. See, he has to get his people moving forward in time, because right now they're stuck in time, and the enemy's got them moving right in the wrong direction of time, creating time for them instead of time for themselves. You got them going in the wrong, having the wrong vision. See, so when you master that, right, then you're high priest. See, but it takes a lot of energy, especially, particularly for this time in history, to master the prophecy, which is the AL-INJIL, the scripture, which is the AL-INJIL, because it was made the most complicated, because it would be a time of unprecedented trouble. So had to be a great, powerful, bright light. See, great, powerful, bright light to get us through this intense darkness that's descending upon the world, specifically America. But it takes a lot of energy to do it. So now he wasn't, then there's several ways to deal with the energy deprivation problem. Now, Master Muhammad, the way it was dealt with him, right, was by giving him a white mother to solve it. However, it says Suleiman, it would be resolved in a different way. Okay. Put it this way. Okay, say for instance the balance is 1,000. See? And it takes, the energy you need to master the AL-INJIL is 10,000 or even 100,000. But the balance is 1,000. And the energy you need to master, right, is 100,000. So to take that means you have 100,000 years of bad luck. Bad luck. But that bad luck can take place in many forms. See? And so that's why I say he was slain from the foundation of earth. That's why it says that he would be someone that was, he was cut off from life. He was cut off from, is that the word they use? He was cut off from the land of the living. What do you mean by the cut from the land of the living? That means all the things that you recognize as being a part of life. He had none of that. He had no family, no parents, right? no friends. See? All kinds of opposition, all his life, constantly, adversity, being in a land of devils. Remember I told you there's a personification of our energy deprivation, so you're surrounded by them all the time. Always be dealing with them, and they be doing all kinds of things to undermine him and hurt him, and everybody he knows, including family, the family he does have, they would all turn against him. That's what it said. That's the story of Job. Everything went against Job. So you got to read, you got to understand the story. Things don't just go bad on you for no reason. So you hear the story, all the bad things. Say, well, we know from the balance, if things went bad for Job, that's because something good was happening in the background. That's consequence. So if everything all of a sudden you got 100,000 units of bad luck, it must be because you got 1,000 units of good luck, right? Somehow, form of healing or something. So we got to understand. That's why you have to understand those are mathematical books. It's very important to understand that. So when you read the stuff, you say, "Oh man, Job had all this bad luck." Well, you got to recognize, wait, based mathematics, if he had all that bad luck, it must have been something good that was going on that he had that caused that bad luck. Or it wasn't cause it, but he's receiving because of the bad luck. It still has to come out the same way. You say, well, okay, bad things happen to me, right? Because I got, I did something positive. In other words, I went and bought this diamond mine, right? So now I got all this. In other words, let me say it simply. The balance is 1,000. So I went and did something that was valued at 5,000. So now I got 5,000 units of bad luck. Or the other way to look around is that somebody came and gave me a lot of grief, caused 5,000 units of bad luck. So therefore, I received 5,000 of good luck some other kind of way, a form of healing or something. You can look at it both ways, it still comes out the same thing. Either you caused it or you received it. Either you're part of the cause or part of, what they say, you're part of the action or you're part of the reaction. You can look either way. So that's why I said Suleiman looked like he was even the founder of the earth, because he had to be brought up in this situation. That's why I said they saw him as a plant coming out of dry land. See? Because he had nothing. So he had suffered everything. Bad marriages, everything. Nothing would work out for him, right? Because that's what it took to master the AL-INJIL. What it took for Muhammad to master the 5 fundamental principles of Islam, he had to have a white Caucasian mother. So he can avoid energy deprivation. See? So Suleiman would have to have, come from the land of living, he would have to have nothing. All the things that you think like family and friends and mother and father and things like that, people you can relationship and stuff. He had nothing. He was on his own. I would say he looked like a plant, right? A little small plant out of dry land, because he was on his own. He didn't know anything. Nobody taught him anything. He was just out there like a little child. Like I say all the time, it was my sister, my little baby sister, myself, with my father. My mother passed when I was 9 years old, right? So, and she was very young. She was in her early 20s. Because she had me when she was very young. She was a teenager, right? So, real young teenager. She might not even been a teenager. I know she was really young, right? And my sister was a year younger. She took that polio vaccine. She's the only one in the family that died of cancer. No one in the family ever died of cancer but her. And she's the only one who took that polio vaccine. But at any rate, and my father died 5 years later. And nobody ever taught us anything. When he passed, we didn't know anything. We was probably the dumbest 2 people on the planet because we didn't know anything. My father, he was sick for the whole 5 years after mother passed because he hurt his back. He was doing construction work. He never had time teaching anything. He was in pain all the time until they finally had surgery. And it killed him because he was just too weak. He didn't survive the surgery. So we didn't know anything. We went out to the world, nothing. I just had sense to say, well, I don't know anything. I knew I didn't know anything. So I took hold of the Bible and I said, I'm going to follow that. So I'm trying to explain to you how these things work. It's all mathematics. See? So that's what it took to be able to master the angel. That's why it says he looked like he was slain from the foundation of the earth. So it took all to sacrifice everything. That's what it's talking about. Jesus was on the cross, and he's like, that's what it means, because he sacrificed everything. He had nothing. No sense of family, anything. I have no idea what that means. I barely knew my mother. I knew her from seeing her a couple of times, but as far as any conversation with her or being around her or holding me, anything, I had no knowledge of any of that. None. And none from my father either. There was like two people that I knew, but no emotional attachment, none whatsoever, because I didn't know him. See? And nobody on my mother's side of the family, I don't know anybody on my father's side of the family, never met them. Don't know my grandfathers, know my grandparents, never met any of them. Never met anybody. I saw my grandfather one time. My grandfather, and because he was in the hospital, I remember my mother took us to see him one time. I don't remember even the way he looked like. I don't remember seeing him. I know we went there to see him. Did I actually see him? I don't know. I don't know anybody. And that's how my father left us. I was 14 years old. My sister was 13. We had nothing. Didn't know anybody. And was nobody cared about us. And we stayed with mom for a while. And she was pretty much just a alcoholic. And she was just there to get the money the state was giving. She didn't do anything for us, not anything whatsoever. Then my sister turned 18, she threw her behind out. I had already took off, I left the army, I said I gotta go somewhere and get out of here. So I'm just saying, this is not complete, I'm trying to explain the science behind this. So that's how that energy deprivation problem was solved, because he had to be in a situation where he had a terrible, terrible luck, right? And so therefore, that allowed him to take the angel, right, and to break the seals, because it took a lot of energy to do that, a lot of energy. See, so again, like if the balance is 1,000, and the angel, right, is worth 100,000, that means if you take it, you're going to create 100,000 units of bad luck. If you want to take it, understand it, learn it. That's what it took. Now, it don't take that much from you, because I'm already breaking it down for you. So in other words, it's like you have a spotter. If you go lift weight, you have a spotter, so you don't have to worry about it, because spotters help you lift the weight. See? That's what that is. So I'm going to pretty much leave it there, brother. So I'm trying to get you to understand the mathematics behind it, what makes you a master. All you be masters eventually, because all you become gods. But it takes to become a god, you have to master the 5 fundamental pillars of Islam. See? Become a high priest. See, that's what they call, read Hebrews 7. See, he was called the high priest because he mastered the scripture. That makes you a prophet. See, but he's a special prophet. See, so like, but they refer to both as gods. See, because the angel was greater than any prophet ever had. No prophet ever had, because like I said, no one heavens, earth, under earth could do it. So that's why they refer to him as a god also. But primarily as a high priest. So he was the master of the angel. Master from Muhammad is the master of 5 fundamental pillars of Islam. And together, right, they defeat the wicked. He would defeat the demons. See? And Master from Muhammad would defeat the devils, the dragon, the Jal, Gog and Magog. See? He would defeat them physically. But Suleiman would defeat the demons physically and spiritually, but he also defeat Gog and Magog spiritually. He's the spiritual God. He's fighting the spiritual war. But as far as the demons are concerned, he has to deal with them physically, because he's right up next to him. He's the one that he had to clean them out to get our people back together. Master Muhammad, he's fighting the physical war. See? And he's about to go into, he's about to go into action, make himself manifest. That's the Ancient of Days. And when he goes into action, he makes himself manifest, right? See? When he takes down the dragon and false Israel, then he's going to be made manifest over here. Because it said, read the Ancient of Days. It said, when the Ancient of Days said, it said, one like the Son of Man. That means he's not the Son of Man. If he's like the Son of Man, he's going to come in the clouds of heaven. He's going to come to Suleiman. See? So he will be here to protect us. He will be here to bring us food. It said, manna from heaven, so we will not starve. We will not go hungry. But our enemies will. They will be eating themselves, they eat their children, everything else. But it will not happen to us. And he will deliver us out of here. So just be confident, right? You don't have to worry that will happen. Just relax. But, and so you're on the path. See? So we have two things to master. See? 5 fundamental principles of Islam, 5 fundamental mathematical principles of Islam, and the angel. See? But the angel changes. Remember, 5 fundamental pillars of Islam, they don't change. That's our nature. It's always been there. The angel, we master that for this time. That's making you a prophet. So now you'll be able to see. Because what you want to do is going to be intense dark. You want to be able to see. See? That's going to give you your sight. But the 5 fundamental principles of Islam is going to give you your power. It's going to give you your protection. So the more of you've done it, the more power and more protection you will have. The more you study the angel, the better your eyesight will be. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. Hope you understand. If you have any questions, let me know. So you need to know these things, exactly why these things are said, why things happen, and the mathematics behind it. Because I don't come just with the angel, I come with the mathematics also. I also come with the 5 fundamental principles of Islam, but I haven't mastered them. I know of them, have not mastered them. Only thing I've mastered is the angel. That's what makes me the high priest. And some of you, right, are moving in that direction, and some of you moving in the other direction. See? Because it takes a lot of energy. Some of you may be trying to do both, but it takes a lot of energy. And I know that. So I'm not criticizing anybody. See? Because it takes a lot of energy to do it. But I paid the price so that I could be a spotter for you. See? As the brother was saying, he turns water into wine, right? See? Put some spirit into it. Turn the scriptures, give meaning to it. Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you understand. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Again, right? If you understand, brothers and sisters, right? Contact us, right? You're on your road to godhood or to priesthood. You're on your road to becoming a master. You can do it, but you got to put the work in. See, Suleiman put the work in. Master Muhammad put the work in. You think it's easy to sort of walk back and forth 6 to 8 hours a night reciting the Quran? You think that's easy? You try it. He had to put the work in. He's not like some mystery God. He just snap his fingers. You got to put the work in. So he put the work in. That's why he's the God. I had to put the work in. That's why I'm the high priest. It's not these clowns. He's all like Sapphira. He just give himself a name. I'm the Son of Man. I'm the chief. I'm the master of the prophets. He gives himself a name, the 7th angel, and all this stuff. See, that's why they're going to be chastised. See, that's why he's been chastised already. They've been chastised because let me say this, and then I'm going to leave this. Okay, say for instance you go out there and you say, remember, everything costs. You got to get familiar with that concept. So if you go out there and say you're the Son of Man, right? That's a title that you have to pay a lot of energy to get. Think about that now. Okay, say for instance, it takes you 10,000, 100,000 units of energy to master the angel. Okay? To be the high priest. It takes 100,000 units of energy to do it, right? Okay. But you haven't done it. 100,000 units of energy. I'm going to say it again, 100,000 units of energy to master the angel so you can say that you're the high priest. But you don't do that. You go out there and say, do you understand what just happened? You just generated 100,000 units of negative energy because you imagine walking around saying you have something because you taking that title because that it means something. So you saying that's who you are and you're not. So you walk around with the credits that comes with that, but you didn't pay the price for it. So therefore, that's why Farrakhan was disemboweled, because he's saying he's something that he's not. See, that's complicated mathematics, but I think, Mister, you can understand it. You got to understand it's mathematics. If you say you're something you're not, that means you take it positive. That's positive energy. You saying, okay, I'm this. You put yourself in another way. Okay, say it takes. Okay. When you take and say, I'm the high priest, right? And say 100,000 units of energy to achieve that, right? See? Okay, let me put it this way. Say, for instance, it takes 100,000 units of energy to go from first floor to second floor. So now you got to work, you got to go, See? That's how much it takes to get there. But say, right, you cheat, and somebody lift you up, put you there. It still costs 100,000 units of energy because you're saying you got something that you don't have. You're saying you're somebody you're not. That's going to false Israel over there. Once you say you're something not, right, that costs because you're taking a value that you haven't paid for. So if you go around telling you're the son of man, you're not, and it takes 100,000 units of energy to achieve that status, but you walk around saying you aren't, that means people are going to give you respect that you don't deserve. You see what I'm saying? You get respect and everything that you don't deserve, you haven't paid for, so now it's coming to you in a negative energy form. It's like you have it, because you walk around like you have it, but you don't, but you haven't paid the price to do it. Hope you understand it's a kind of subtle concept, but it is. So if you go around trying to pretend you're something that you're not, you're going to pay a price for that. Every action has opposite equal. Every action has opposite equal reaction as consequence. So if you go around saying you're the God that you ain't, you're going to pay a price for that. You're going to pay the same price that the God had to pay to become that God. But you ain't the God. But you got that negative energy because you claiming that you're something that you're not. And that has value, because if you're saying, it's like, look at all that false Israel's getting, because they're saying they're getting all this energy from America and all these other places because they're saying they're us. You see? See what I'm saying? So now all this negative energy is coming. That's why they're going to be destroyed so totally. You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? So you don't want to go around saying you're something that you're not. That's why Farrakhan was disemboweled. He complaining he's this, he's that. He's not into that. He's just a lying demon. You can't get away from consequence. If I was coming to tell you I was son of man and I broke the seals and I haven't, right? Then I have all kinds of negative energy. As much as I have, well, let me leave it. Yeah, I generate a lot of negative energy because I'm claiming something. I'm claiming a value that I do not have. I'm claiming a value for myself that I do not have. I'm saying I'm a Lamborghini when I'm not. It's like you going and selling this car to a blind person, and it's a Volkswagen Beetle, but you tell him it's a Lamborghini, so he can't tell. See? So if you claim you're something, that means you're taking value that you have not paid for. So you generate the energy, the negative energy that goes with it. So if you claiming 100,000, 1,000, that means if you claiming something that took you 100,000 units to get, but you didn't spend 100,000 units to get, then you just generated 100,000 units of negative energy, walking around claiming that you're something that you're not. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. See, maybe I'll elaborate that on another time, but I think this, if you think about it, you can understand it. See, that's why Farrakhan is suffering like he's suffering. So, oh, he's suffering. So, yeah, he's suffering because he pretended to be something he's not. See? I had to pay the price to get the angel. See, they claim him, but they don't have the angel. But they got the bad luck because they claiming they got it. They don't. They claim they know scripture. They don't. So all these preachers. That's why all these preachers gonna catch it because they claiming they know scripture. They don't. So that's why you have to understand mathematics, so you don't make that kind of mistake. You have to understand everything has a consequence. So if you say something that's not true, you're going to pay for it. If you pretend you're somebody you're not, you're going to pay for it. You're better off saying, you're better off walking humbly. Like I said, we don't need to walk humbly because we create everything that's out there. But you're better off walking humbly. So in other words, if you are the Son of Man and you walk around and say, well, like I'm just a lowly person, right? Then you generate positive energy for yourself because you're putting yourself down less value than you really have. You understand what I'm saying? So if you lift yourself up above what you are, then you create negative energy for yourself. If you put yourself down, right, humbly and self-abasing, then you're creating positive energy for yourself because you're putting yourself down from what you really are. I don't particularly advise that. I think, but it's something that you can do if you understand the wisdom behind it. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. So you don't see me trying to lift myself. In fact, only reason I even say about the things about being the angel and being Suleiman, because it was a requirement to be able to identify him. That's one of the requirements, because people need to know. So by saying other than who I am, and not telling people I broke the seals, that's like a police officer walking around but won't show his badge. Well, how do you know he's a police officer? That's his job, to be able to identify him so he can do his job. See? But I don't take it any further than that. Like these Farrakhan, he wants you to worship him, give him money, all that kind of stuff. He wants you to look up to him and worship him like he's the God and all that kind of stuff. He's the Son of Man now, he's all this stuff. No, you don't see me doing that. I'm just saying the basic. I've mastered the master angel. I broke the 7 seals, and that's about it. I don't take it any further now. I don't want anybody's money. I ain't nobody worshiping me. I don't want nobody worshiping me. I ain't pointing the fingers at anybody. I ain't beating down nobody. I ain't trying to look better than anybody. I don't do any of that because I'm not about that anyway. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. But here's contact information. If anything makes sense to you, right, come and let us, right, start you on your road, right, to mastering Scripture, being a high priest, prophet, or being a God, or both. Right? It's a hard road right now, but it's going to be much easier in a few more days. But we all will achieve it because we all are gods. See? But you have to, every child's born right. They're born with everything right. They got to do something. They got to put the work in. So you have the material to be a God. To put that away. You got to do some of that material. So we all have God material. I should say it that way. We all have God material. So you got to apply it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.